Hey everyone, it's Mr. Mountain Man, and as you can tell, fall has arrived. I'm standing in a blanket of leaves, and it is a beautiful Saturday morning, early in October. Gonna take the Shelby, go over to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and check out these gorgeous Blue Ridge Mountains. And we'll see if the leaves have started to change at the lower elevations. I don't think as much, but we'll see what it's like when we get to the higher elevations. So come along with me on this crisp morning, and let's check out the western North Carolina mountains. All right, let's get this thing started up. That sound never gets boring. All right, so just about to enter the Blue Ridge Parkway up ahead. There is the French Broad River, which means we are at exactly just about 2,000 feet. And up ahead, you can see the bridge. That will be the entrance to the Blue Ridge Parkway. So not much color change here. Temperature is about 50-55 degrees, I think, right about now. But as we go up in elevation, certainly the temperature will drop and we probably see some color change. Quite a bit of traffic today. I don't know what's going on over on I-26. It might be some backup traffic. There's a lot of construction going on the interstate. So this road right here, which is 191, is kind of the overflow until they finish the widening project. But we are entering the Blue Ridge Parkway from the west side of Asheville. And this right over here is where the Arboretum is. So once we get the light, we'll head on in. All right. So as I mentioned, that's the entrance to the North Carolina Arboretum right there. And up ahead, see if we can get out of the glare. There's the sign, entering the Blue Ridge Parkway. We're gonna make a right up here, and that'll take us towards Mount Pisgah, which is up around 6,000 feet of elevation. We'll probably head up maybe to around 5,000 feet in elevation. All right. So again, we'll start the climb up the mountain. Hey, actually, you know, I haven't been up here. I mean, we're already seeing a little bit of color. Got a bunch of tourists out, motorcycles. You know, I was gonna do a motorcycle ride, but what happened was we had a front come through last night with rain, and the temperature dropped significantly. I mean, this week it's been in the 70s, almost 80s, and this morning it was in the 40s, and up at Mount Pisgah it's in the 30s. And so with that rain, I just thought it'd be a little safer to go in the car. But I think this is fun, you know, doing this first person, kind of showing you as I look around and here driving in the car, got the old 6-speed. This is a great automobile to take out here. Of course, anything, it doesn't really matter, but this is in particular for me a lot of fun. I find it pretty awesome. So yeah, as you've seen in some of my other videos, this is just part of the deal. You know, this is a scenic highway, and so people are looking around and you're not going to be going very fast. Sometimes you're going to get right behind another car and it's just going to slow down the pace a little bit. So just be prepared for that if you ever come up here. We're getting into super high tourist leaf peeper season right now. And so yeah, if you've not heard that term before, leaf peeper, we have a lot of tourists come in from out of town that just want to see the color change in the mountains. And I don't blame them. It's beautiful. This car in front of me, actually, I had noticed the license plate was from Kentucky. So some folks from out of town. But yeah, big temperature drop. Kind of exciting, you know. It's always nice to have the seasons change. And these people parked right here, there are trails that sprout off from the Blue Ridge Parkway, and so those folks are going for a little bit of a hike, which would be really nice. By the way, let me talk about peak color. Everybody talks about when's peak leaf season, and honestly, it's a really difficult date to try to zone in on because it's a moving target by elevation. So there is no single peak season, especially here in the mountains, because you have 1,000-foot increments of elevation. And so 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, even 6 to 7 when you talk about the likes of Mount Mitchell and such. So just a little tip for anybody coming to the mountains, and when's peak season, in general, the month of October to early November is leaf season. And if the particular elevation you are at does not have the color popping yet, or it's too late and the leaves have fallen off the tree, you can adjust that accordingly. If you're a little too low, like in Asheville, you can go up to, say, 3 or 4 or 5,000 feet and start to see some leaf color. So my recommendation is if you're trying to chase after peak season, I know it's difficult, but if you're planning a vacation or a weekend trip, just go ahead and pick a weekend or time in October or early November, and then just drive around the mountains accordingly to get that color range that you're looking for. If you're talking about Asheville proper, that is at the lower elevations in the 2,000 to 3,000 feet, that's going to be usually later in October to early November. So we got a little bit of reds peeking through, little yellows, lots of green. So there's a lot of factors that determine the diversity of color: red, green, yellow, brown, everything. And to be quite honest, I forget a lot of those causes other than whatever stresses the leaves. As we approach the Grassy Knob Tunnel. So it's gonna get dark. We turn on my lights. There we go. Not sure how well you can see. We are creeping along here at 34 miles an hour. I do love this stretch of the parkway though. There's several tunnels that you go through. I mean, I guess it's just the kid in me. I never get bored of going through a tunnel. Got a little bit of a shade here. All right, so this is Sleepy Gap, 2930 feet. So we're almost at 3,000 feet. Back to the color. So I know for a fact whatever stresses the leaves, but I forget what those factors are. If it's, goes drastically from cold to hot, too much rain, not enough rain, whatever those factors are determining it. And by stressing the leaves, that's when you're supposed to get the most color diversity. If it's the opposite of that, is when you get some of those kind of meh seasons where they go from green to yellowish brown and then just fall off the trees. And that happens sometimes too. And you always get some color. And now as I look over there, it's still pretty green, although I do start to see some, and you can see over here on the right as well. By the way, let me know in the comments below, how many people still like to use a stick shift? I know a lot of people probably don't even either know how to drive, ever driven one, especially younger folks. I saw a funny shirt once. It said like anti-theft device, and it had a, like a 5 or a 6 speed on it. It was a t-shirt, funny, meaning that, just a lot of people don't know how to drive them. I enjoy it, and look at that over there. Beautiful. And so these signs that say overlook ahead will alert you when there's a pull off. And one of the caveats to doing this first person is I know the camera might be tilted a little bit wonky or whatever, but sometimes it's because I'm checking my mirror and looking over to the side. So this is like a reality vlog. You get it all just as it is. I love it when there's a canopy. That's just beautiful when the trees just overhang and provide their own sort of tunnel. And as the colors are really displayed on highlight there when the sun hits them, that looks pretty nice as well. Another overlook. Not much of a chance to get the supercharger wound up around here, but That's okay. I wasn't looking to really go crazy today. Another tunnel. Look at that. Just beautiful. Look at the stonework and the ivy hanging down. Turn my lights back on. Hey, do you guys honk in tunnels? Hold on. Let's roll down the windows. It's still a little too. I don't know. Kids always like that. We always do it. I don't pay any attention to when somebody honks in a tunnel because I just know that's what it is. Now, I bet if you live in the city and constantly going through tunnels, nobody's honking. But up here on the scenic route, that's a fun thing to do. Sometimes from those tunnels, you'll see icicles hanging down in front of them because it just stays so cold and shaded that once the water starts to drip down, they just almost never completely melt. Oh yeah, now we're starting to see some color. We got orange, yellow, reds. Wow, that's pretty. Yeah, okay, pretty cool. I don't have the elevation gauge in this car, but we gotta be at, let me see if I can take a peek over there. That is 3,350 feet at that overlook right there. So we're not quite yet up, and if it's looking this good at 3,300 feet, well, it's gonna look tremendous at 5,000 feet. Pretty neat. Ooh, what a nice looking, yeah. Very cool. Gotta get a thumbnail out of one of those. There we go. So I'm doing about 45 right now. Ah, there's somebody on a bicycle. I have been on a couple of hikes. I mean, you got everything. You got motorcycle, bicycle, hiking, cars. This was very popular a few years ago during the pandemic because the outdoor, you know, with everything being closed, people just loved coming over here, and we had actually a lot of tourists coming through to enjoy the Blue Ridge Parkway in so many different ways. Look at that sky, the blue sky with the leaves and the mountains. This is really nice. Another tunnel. This one is the Fair and Knob, tunnel number 1. I left my lights on, so we're all good there. You know, and this is one thing on the motorcycle I have to be careful of. I mean, not a ton of water gets in here, but you just want to be careful nothing's slick when you're going through the tunnel. There's another overlook. And little hint, so the overlooks, the higher you get up, typically, I know this sounds ironic, the less cars and tourists will be there. A lot of people tend to get on the parkway from the main roads in Asheville. They come, they look at the first couple overlooks, and maybe they drive back down. The further you go, the less and less cars there'll be, even though it's prettier up top. Here's another tunnel. This one's short. I can already see the light on the other side. Oh, double. Yep, Fair and Knob tunnel number 3. So that was 2. This is 3. I always forget how many tunnels there are from the bottom of the top on this particular drive. All right, Beaver Dam Gap, 3270 elevation. Some of these off to the right, like that one, they might have a little path, and then you can see the other side of the mountains. If you've ever been to the Biltmore before, there are beautiful views of Mount Pisgah. Mount Pisgah is for Asheville like Mount LeConte is for Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. So our mountain of, you know, view in the distance are above 6,000 feet, which is that one right over there, is Mount Pisgah. And even Mr. Vanderbilt himself, who built the Biltmore, was buying up land so that he could have unobstructed views of the mountain. I don't blame him. It's absolutely beautiful around here. Pretty lucky right now. I just got that one pickup truck in front of me, but other than that, nothing really obstructing the views. Yep, so got a couple of cars. Oh, that one there has a huge light. Somebody's getting like professional photos taken. Now, see these gates right here? It's probably pretty intuitive what they are, but the Blue Ridge Parkway because it's a scenic byway and not a thoroughfare to get from A to B out of criticality, they'll close it in an instant for snow, ice, or inclement weather. They do not pay to, to shovel it or clear the roads or anything like that. Here's the Young Pisgah Ridge Tunnel going through. Again, every single one of these tunnels, just beautiful character. Really makes you feel like you're up in the mountains. But yeah, so one of the challenging things is like, even if you have a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive truck or car, and you're like, oh, it snowed a little bit, I would love to go up and see the higher elevations and catch some snow and see some of that kind of stuff. You won't be able to, because they will very quickly close those gates so that the road's closed. You're just not able to come up here. I've not known them to do it for rain or anything like that, just for snow and ice. The only reason they would do rain is if, like a tree had fallen or there was flooding. Which up here, flooding is, as far as I know, is usually not common. It would have to be something just across a particular part of the road, just because everything runs down the mountain. Really is interesting, and I am no tree expert, but just, the different types of trees. Some stay green longer, some turn very, very quickly at the first time of fall. Another tunnel that we're going through. Hey, let's rev the engine. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh, that's cool. I don't know how well that got picked up on the phone, but why not? Another overlook ahead up here. Okay, now this one is beautiful. Let's see if you see that view over there? Look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Wow. So that's Hominy Valley. I didn't catch the elevation. That would be looking back off to the north. So I'll see if I can get that. Very nice. Yeah, I can't turn my head too long. I got to keep my eyes on the road. When I opened the windows back there for a couple seconds, the temperature was just delicious. It was nice and cool. Very, very awesome. Little windy. I can see the trees blowing around quite a bit. That was the Mills River overlook that we just passed on the left. You couldn't really see anything from that point, but continue to go past these overlooks. Yeah, so right now we're getting some really neat, spectacular views off to the right there. Looks like somebody else might have been looking too. I see tire marks off to the right. Great view. Very cool. Got a downshift here because going up such a steep hill. This car just handles so well going around turns. There we go. Yep. Definitely some color up here at Pisgah. Got some people pulled over enjoying the views, maybe snapping a couple of pictures. Another great day to be up at like Mount Mitchell. I mean, because the skies are so clear right now. They just, you've got views for, who knows, 50, 100 miles. When you get up to Mount Mitchell, highest point east of the Mississippi, Just point out this is a junction with Highway 151, but from Mount Mitchell, you can see multiple states on a clear day. Here's another one of those gates. So if somebody was coming off 151, I believe 151 goes down to Brevard, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember where that one goes. You know, it probably seems obvious as well, but one other little tip: if you're up here on this parkway or any of them, and it's not wall-to-wall traffic, it's like this, maybe a little bit sparse, and if you do get behind somebody that's really moving slowly and you feel like it's just obstructing your view and your enjoyment, just pull off at one of those overlooks, take a few minutes, take a couple of pictures, wait for a gap in the traffic, and get back on the parkway. I can see in my rearview mirror a few cars are starting to stack up now as well. It's just inevitable. I mean, it's October. I haven't looked in a while, but it was the case that in Asheville and surrounding areas, hotel rates basically probably September 25th-ish through Thanksgiving would go 3x. So maybe like a Hampton that might have been like $120 would all of a sudden be $350 a night. And that was because of tourism and leaf peeper season. So if you were coming and you were not on tourism, it just would be really expensive. That is beautiful right there. Look at the rock from the mountain, the leaves changing colors. 5 or 6 cars behind me. Probably getting a little bit of glare there. Another tunnel coming up. A little short one. This is the Little Pisgah Ridge Tunnel. Some views off to the left, which would be kind of the south-ish, because we're heading in a general direction of like northwest. There's another pretty picture of the mountains. Yeah, see, tunnel after tunnel after tunnel. It also warns you to look out for bicycles. Buck Spring Tunnel here. Make sure I put my lights back on. Mount Pisgah. Here we go. Yeah, there's dining and a hotel. There's a gift shop. A lot of stuff up this way. Another overlook. So there's the Mount Pisgah parking area. Go up that way. And the Mount Pisgah picnic area. As we get to our destination, where I'm going to get out and see the sights. I've been up here on the motorcycle. This is a great ride for the motorcycle too. You know, nice 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back. It's not too bad. So you wouldn't know it from just looking right here, but we are basically on top of the mountains. So when you're looking out, Mount Pisgah, that's where we are currently. Yep, and up ahead, hopefully there's not too much glare, that's the Pisgah Inn and Country Store, good place to stop. And I can't remember if there's restrooms there. Yes, there are. I just looked in my mirror. And the Pisgah Inn, Mount Pisgah Campground off to the right. And up top of the mountain, we are... Wow. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Nobody really around right now. Not in front of us, at least. Sometimes on the side of the mountain here with the rock, you'll see really pretty, like, waterfall. Well, let's pull in. Let's see. That one's a little busy. That is a nice stop. We'll go to the next one. The next one. That's Funnel Top. Been there several times with the motorcycle. Okay, so that's one of those old fire stations up there. Hopefully you can see it up ahead. And it happens to be like, some of the hikers love going to those old fire stations and hiking up to them, and it's like a thing to go all over the mountains. And you know, most of them are defunct. It was, you know, they would, I guess the forestry department would be on the lookout up there for fires. Obviously, a lot of people going for a hike over there, but they don't, most of those are not active anymore. If any of you are familiar with them more than I am, or have done any hikes up to them to see them or taken pictures, make sure to leave a comment below. Leave a comment below about anything. Have you been to this part on the Blue Ridge Parkway? Do you enjoy driving it? What do you like? Is this your favorite time of the year, or you prefer a different time of the year to be up here? Summer is nice as well. It's hot, but it's green everywhere. Here's another tunnel. One of the few that's actually just straight through. So, it's kind of neat. I think there's another overlook approaching ahead. Yes, there is. I'm gonna pull off over here. And we'll check out the views. All right, so what a fun drive in the old Shelby today. And as I ended up here at about 5,000 feet, we get some panoramic views of the Blue Ridge Mountains here in western North Carolina. And up there is the fire tower that I was talking about when I was driving up, next to a cell phone tower. Oh boy, it's windy, so I don't have my wind mic with me. I'm missing one wire I need for this new phone, so we'll get that set up soon. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this fall drive in the mountains. Hope to get out and do some more soon. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below about the drive today. And I hope you're out there enjoying this beautiful fall day as well. Until next time, this is Mr. Mountain Man. We'll see you later. Oh yeah, it's all downhill from here.